And we're live. We're ending the countdown early because last week I made everybody wait 5 minutes because I thought we were live and we were not live. Happy Wednesday. What is today? Today is October 15th. Happy halfway point through the month. I hope everybody is doing awesome. I am excited for part 2 of sort of the U1 stream series. The original plan was that we were going to be back in the garage today and work on the Venture XL, but there was a lot of interest in this machine, so I left it up to a vote. I did a poll both in the Discord as well as on this YouTube channel, and it was close, but on the Discord, the U1 won by a single vote, and on YouTube, it won by 2 or 3 votes. So the plan is today we will dive further into the U1. I'll update you guys on what I've done since last week and some thoughts on that. And then we'll play around with some things. We'll take a look at the slicer. I kind of want to do a flow test to see like what the max flow rate is of the stock hot ends. We can kind of do whatever anybody else wants to do. So let me take a moment here and say hi to everybody. We've got Los in the house, Queasy, Diver, hello, Tuxedo, Bomberski, 3D HP, I said Tuxedo gets a hi again. Nice, Havoc, Sheet, how's it going? Patty, Zadi, Conan, Ron, Super Cow, I hope everybody's doing awesome. It also actually worked out really well. So I got approval from work to get some electrical work done in the garage, which is awesome because one of the things that's included in that is the hookup for the mini split. So after tomorrow, we will have 2 20 amp dedicated circuits with, not dedicated, so 2 new 20 amp circuits with a paired receptacle on the other side of the wall, which will give me electrical in all 4 corners. There'll be 2 outlets in the ceiling that I can plug lights to. The plan is to install 2 long rows of 2 lights with a light switch, and then the hookup for the mini split. So I'm super excited, and it worked out well that we didn't do the Venture XL today actually, because I'd have to move all the camera and computer stuff out of the way for the electricians to come tomorrow morning. So I am super excited about that. Before we dive into other stuff too as well, I wanted to bring this up because Nice asked about it like 2 weeks ago. And then it worked out really well because I've been working with this sort of like marketing firm to work on some thank you so much, Nice. I've been working with sort of a marketing firm to help with channel sponsorships because I like making videos and talking about 3D printing. I do not enjoy the business side of YouTube, which is like going out and working on brand deals. And so I found a company that I'm working with to do some of that, and as part of that, we have worked out in a sponsorship thing with Squarespace. So I'm excited to have a website up again. I don't know, right now it's more of like a landing page with like links to Patreon and some stuff about me. I don't know if I'm gonna do, I used to have a website many years ago that I ran that was more like a blog, and I hosted that myself with WordPress, and I've done a bunch of WordPress sites over the years, but I've always ran into issues with like the website getting hacked, and I've done backups where I can sort of revert back to before whatever was injected into the website, but the last thing that happened was my website was redirecting randomly to like a not safe for work website. And so I had a few people contact me about this. This was a couple years ago, and so I ended up taking the website offline because like obviously I don't want to have people going there. So I haven't had a website, and I'm really excited to now have a website again. That'll be a work in progress. Anyways, Nice mentioned a few weeks ago about merch, and so I got a merch store back up. I don't have new designs or logos yet. I still need to reach out to the designer, but that was a big request. And before I made it go live, I wanted to get a feel for the material, like the print on demand. So I ordered a shirt for myself. And here's what I'll say. The print looks really good. The shirt is nice. It's a lot thicker than the previous merch company, but it's not as soft. So I do want to make that known that like this feels like a really nice short sleeve for like the winter time. It's just a much thicker, I'm not a clothing person, so I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a much thicker shirt. So, but the print looks really nice. And then I also ordered one of these for myself, which is just a non-hooded sweater that has the spool bus on it. So if anyone is interested, it will be linked once the website I'm doing goes live. But if anyone is interested, I do have the merch store up live. I just haven't linked it anywhere. And I think I will probably pin it in the, I'll probably pin it in chat for like the next half an hour or something like that until I want to remove it. But there is some stuff up now. So it's a lot of the same kind of stuff that we had before. I think I just did 6, yeah. So basically there's a hat, there's a couple shirt options, one with like small logo and then big spool bus on the back, one with a big spool bus, one like basically this is the one I got, and then 2 sweaters. So I will post it if anyone is interested. You absolutely do not have to, but I have gotten requests, and I know that previously when I had a merch store, people really liked it. So I'm sorry it took me basically a year plus to get this up, but it is up, and I hope to add more. But because of the requests I got, I didn't want to wait until I got new designs. I wanted to get it live because I've been dragging my feet so long. And yeah, it should be live. So if anyone wants to order, you can. It's just not paired with like notifications because it's a separate company. It's not with the streaming stuff anymore. So I won't know until later on. So if anyone does order, thank you. Again, you don't have to order, but I at least wanted to let it be known that it does exist, and that I have ordered the stuff to make sure that I feel like it's good quality material. So moving on with that, I did want to go over what I've been up to with this printer. So since last week, I've printed approximately 85 hours. So I have been printing quite a lot. I've been printing quite a lot. Good stuff. The AC is going, yes, I cannot wait. So I don't think we'll get the AC until after this year, but at least having the electrical in there will allow me to run the, I have an electric heater, which isn't incredible, but it's better than nothing. And for winter time, I will definitely need that because it'll get into the probably low 40s Fahrenheit in the garage. So, so yeah, I've been printing a ton. My first time in live chat, I ordered this printer about a week ago. It looks like mine won't be until the 3rd month of next year. Is there going to be a handheld app like Bamboo has? So the app is the one thing that I haven't played around with yet. They gave me some like pre-release documentation to look over, and one of them has the app, and it looked like the app was still through so on iPhone it's called, what is it called, guys? The sort of like pre-release app store, Spotlight, is that what it's called? So I think I have to go through like their backend thing and request permission, because I don't believe that the app for this is public yet. I might be incorrect in that. There is a SnapMaker app in the App Store, but I don't believe that's the right app for this. So I just got an email from SnapMaker last night, and I will hopefully by next week have some information. But yes, it's my understanding. The spool bus is actually an old Volkswagen Type 2. I love those. Yeah, I love the design. I mentioned it before, but like, I don't know where the idea came from, but I thought of pretty much the entire thing of like the robot in a VW bus, giving the peace sign out the window with spools for the wheels, and I just described what I wanted to the graphic artist, and she made it come to life. And when I saw the first like rendition of the design, I was like, oh my god, this is better than I had even envisioned. So yeah, there should be an app. I just haven't been able to play around with it yet, and hopefully by next week I will. But I have done a ton of printing, so I want to kind of show off what I've printed, how it's went, the good, the sort of couple of things I've run into, and then we will move forward from there. So for starters, I have only printed in PLA, which with it being unenclosed, the main things I'll print with on here are PLA, PTG, and TPU for now. But I've only printed with PLA, and I've only done so far multicolor PLA. I basically figured a lot of people are going to get this, and I know it's a tool changer, it can do a bunch of different stuff, but a lot of people are going to get this and just print multicolor PLA. So I wanted to do a lot of testing with that. I feel pretty good about where I'm at with my testing with that, and so now the plan is to switch over to like PLA with PTG, PTG with PLA for supports, maybe some TPU, and just trying out some different things. I unfortunately don't have access to different hot end nozzle sizes at this point, so it is all going to be 0.4. But yeah, with that out of the way, let me show you guys what I've been printing. I'll probably, let me move this camera in front of this camera, a little camera inception. What do I think of the new P2S? So I haven't actually watched a full video on it. I didn't know it was coming out. I haven't. I recently talked to Bamboo and am excited about some stuff, but I did not know that that was actually coming out. It looks, from what I've seen, like the P1S and the X1 Carbon had a baby. Is that correct in saying that that's basically what it is? Like the P1S, but like upgraded with a nicer screen, the new hot end design, and a few other things. It looks nice. Like I've got, my X1 Carbon's been great, my P1S has been great. And if we're combining sort of the two together, I think that it's probably going to be a great machine as well. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you guys just all the things I printed for starters. So for anyone that didn't see this, this is the test print. This is what we printed last week. We started it on stream. This was the only pre-sliced file on here, and I think it turned out really nicely. It did an awesome. Isn't even better than the X1 Carbon. I have to look. I don't know honestly the specs on it. So yeah, this turned out really nice. I was really happy with that. And then for the Tic Tac video I did last week, I wanted to throw a banana on it for one of the thumbnails, but I went into our kitchen and our bananas looked disgusting. they were very bruised and just sad looking. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take a thumbnail picture with like the saddest looking banana. So I found this little guy, and this was my second print. This is the first one I sliced up myself. So this is 3 colors, hardly. It's mostly 2, and then you've got a little bit of white dots on the eyes. And this is just a tiny, adorable knitted banana, and it did a really, really good job on that as well. So yeah, I did those 2, and then I moved on to, what was the next thing I did? I think the next thing I did was this little guy. So everyone here knows I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I saw it's a little Gengar with his tongue sticking out, and it's supposed to be a phone holder, and I think that even at this scale, it probably would work to hold a phone. Let's see. Maybe not. The guy that designed it kind of works to hold a phone. But I saw it and I was really happy with how it turned out. So then I took him and made his bigger brother. So this one is much, much larger. The print turned out awesome. The only thing I saw on this print is that there is, and I don't even know if this is from the printer or the filament, but there's like some light streaks, if you can see them. And originally I was like, oh, maybe it's like so used to multicolor being from one nozzle. I was like, oh, maybe it's like color bleed from the white because you can see where the white is, but that doesn't actually make sense because there is no color bleed on a tool changer. So the print turned out really nice. What is that on the bottom? Oh, that's just some like string that's on here. The print turned out really nice, and I don't exactly know why there is some like, so there we go, some like different sheen on a few parts of it. Maybe it's just the filament, but the fact that it's perfectly aligned with the teeth, like there and then down here where the white is a little bit odd. The other thing I'm thinking it might be is I'm wondering if perhaps the inside of this guy mostly printed in white, and so some of the white from the infill is bleeding through the sides. I really don't know. But regardless, I feel like it's a minor detail, and it really did. It could be the infill. That's what I'm wondering. If like maybe when it printed the white, because this model said multicolor, but when I downloaded it, it actually wasn't really. So I had to color in a lot of it myself. So I'm wondering if when I colored it, I ended up like when it sliced it, some of the white got really close to the wall. So I don't think I can really blame this on the printer. I believe it was just doing what it was, and that looks like. You can see a line here. Where is it? There's like a line right here. And that's just the sheen of the color. So I assume that basically right here, it was printing slower because it was just doing a small area. And then right here, I'm sorry, here it was printing, I don't know, but I think that the sheen difference has to do with the print speed it was printing at, the different layers. And so once we got up to here, it was either printing faster or slower. And so that's why you see a light, like down here, it's a little bit shinier, and up here it gets a little more matte. But these are all things that are not unique to the printer really, and are just, you know, the filament. So that's what you're seeing there. But all in all, I think it did a really nice job. The next thing I printed, I wanted to see how the multicolor could handle a more complex object. So I printed this guy out. This is a single test print, like print in place, and it's got a ton. It's hard to see, but on the inside there's a bunch of yellow. So it's not just like printing blue then switching to yellow. It's like weaving the yellow and blue in between each other. And this, it spins. It did a really good job of not only getting the color in place on such a detailed print, but also keeping tolerances, which is really freaking cool. Hey, Armor. I really want to pick one of these up, but I'm having a hard time not holding up an Index Core 1 system. I mean, these aren't going anywhere, right? Like, I think right now they have them on pre-order. I linked in the description, and it is an affiliate link. Last week's was not because I hadn't used the machine at all, but now after a week of using it, I'm like, okay, if someone wants to pick it up after watching the stream, that's fine. I think they have it on pre-order for like $8.99. I don't know if they'll end up being able to just keep that price or if it will go up to the $9.99, I believe. But honestly, like, if you're curious about Index, which a lot of us are, I don't see any issue with you holding out and then deciding at that point which one makes the most sense. But I was really happy with Really happy with the way this turned out. Let's see, Charles. Hey Charles, hey John. 8:59 for the moment. Okay, got it. And so then I printed out a couple of these. So I've been wanting to do a video on QForge forever, but every time I open the software, it's changed because it's always like 4 or 5 months apart. And I need to sit down and just spend an hour. I know Danny did a video on it, and so I want to watch that and do a full video. So these are not my own designs. These are designs I found online. But Jackson is obsessed with Disney, and so please don't cancel me, Disney. But I did print out one of these for Jackson, and then I wanted to see what it would look like in a different color, so I printed out another one. And these are things you wouldn't have to, like, you don't need a tool changer for this, and the waste is minimal, but it was really more about me just seeing like how it handled a print like this. And I will say, so I haven't been leveling the bed between each print, but on the first print I did on this, the first layer was not even. It was dragging a little bit once it got towards one side. So for the second print of this, I did rerun the bed leveling. I still haven't, we checked out the bed leveling last week, and I think that the deviation was like a little over 1 millimeter. So I do want to play around with manually adjusting if that's a thing, but I did want to basically state that it's been doing a good job of first layer, but on a big print, like this was a very large print considering, you know, the plate size. I did end up running a bed leveling again. The only other thing I saw with this that's interesting is, so like, this is the first one I did, and it turned out like pretty much flawless, I would say. Anything you see that is maybe an imperfection was because of my painting. Like there's a little bit of red on Mickey's, or on Goofy's eye, and I saw that in the preview, so that was not like the printer placing color wrong. It was just the way that the file was done and the way I did the colors. But for some reason, on this one, if you look at the yellow, I don't know how well it'll come through the lines, but if you look at the sweater and stuff, there's some under extrusion going on. And this was printed at 0.08 layer height, while everything else was printed at 0.2 millimeter layer height. And so I'm not sure what the cause was for it. I did notice it on one other print, and it seems like it's toolhead, potentially toolhead 4. So I might end up doing a cold pull, but I did a couple other prints and didn't notice it as much. So I'm not entirely sure what the deal is. And this one, for anyone, I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon fan as well. So like, the colors on this one didn't go where I wanted them to. I totally screwed it up, but I still think it looks really cool. For anyone not familiar, this is Exodia, a really awesome character from Yu-Gi-Oh. So these were the 3 QForges that I did. What else? What else have I done? Oh, okay. And then I printed out this guy, which was a Wexter model. This was a very long print. So a couple things went wrong here. This is the print. Actually, I ran into a few issues. Really the only issues I ran into. So when it was starting to print, I got an error, and the error didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I did actually reach out to SnapMaker about it, and I will show you guys the error as well here, so you can see it. I took a photo. Where are you? Here it is. So this is the, let's see if it'll focus. Yeah, so that's the error that I saw. And there's a couple things I've noticed with this printer. It does a pretty good job. These little loading things do a pretty good job. However, there's 2 things it doesn't like. It doesn't like the bit of filament that maybe you had bent off to the side when you had it stored. Like, so if you have a kink, oh man, thank you so much for purchasing the hoodie. That's so cool. Can you guys see that? I didn't realize that there was going to be a notification. I have no idea how those 2 things are synced up. Thank you to whoever that was. Cheers. Oh, air horn. That's freaking cool. I don't know how those 2 things are synced up because they're completely different platforms, but that was very cool. Thank you, whoever that was, that I hope you enjoy your hoodie. So yeah, it does not like, what kind of print was that? Is there a specific name to search? Yeah, HueForge, Hueforge. So I just searched that on Maker World, and that was one that popped up. So yeah, it does not like kinks. This looks weird. You guys are, here, look at, there we go. We can even go like this, a little bit closer. My hair's sticking up. So it does not like, any sort of like kinks in the filament that would have been there from bending it. So that was one thing I noticed. I had a couple errors when loading, and I basically had to just cut off instead of just the tip, like wherever that bend was over the filament. And then the other thing it did not like was it had one spool of voxel PLA that was mostly gone, and that was behaving a little bit weird, and I don't know why. The error I got on this, so this errored out initially when I was loading up the filament, and then I reprinted it from the printer, and I must have screwed up because this was intended to be a 3-color print. It was supposed to be black with white on the face and then gray for the blade, but it did not do gray on the blade. So it was nice. Thank you so much, Nice. Let me know when you get it and how you like it. I have not seen or tested out the hoodies, but if it's the same kind of material as the like non-hooded sweater that I picked up, it's pretty sweet. So I hope you like it. So that was, I think, a me thing. When the print didn't work out, I was like, let me try starting it from the printer itself, and so I might have just spammed really quickly and not realized that I selected white for both colors. But the other thing that happened was the filament actually ran out. I miscalculated how much black filament I had, so I don't know how well you can see it, but I think if you look in the light, yeah, right about here, you can see that it looks different. That was not like the printer doing weird things. This is a different black. This was SnapMaker's included black, and this was like Polymaker Polylite PLA or something like that. So it had the closest like sheen I could find. But the thing I found a little bit odd was when the filament ran out, it gave me the error I just showed on screen. And it was a little bit interesting how to get out of that error. So I removed the empty spool, fed the new spool in through the buffer system or whatever, and it loads it to like right above where the tool head is. And then I clicked play, like thinking that it would just resume now, right? And it didn't. It just kept showing me that error over and over and over. Like and the error doesn't really say a whole lot, right? Like the words on it are basically E0 not edit filament with an error code that when you click on it didn't do anything. It says contact support. So what I ended up having to do was click on the filament menu, then load the filament, I believe, from the filament menu, and then tell the printer what the filament was. So basically, I think I selected basic black PLA, and then I hit resume and it worked fine. But I did let them know that the error code meant nothing to me and was fairly confusing. So that was really the main issue I ran into, and it was just with, I got the error when I was initially loading the spool that had sort of the, you know, the kink to it, which was obvious. I knew what the error was because as soon as I loaded it, there's a little light on the buffers and one was red, so like that looks wrong. And then on the other one, I figured it out. So I did that. And then the other thing I printed out was this guy. I just finished printing this guy out. And so this is a 4-color print. It prints in 2 pieces. So it prints up to the noodles in one print, and then the sticks are a separate print. And so this did a really awesome job. This is, if Zombie's here, he'd be happy. This is the first time I've ever used his beautiful filament. This is Zombie's, I've got on the side here. What's the actual name of it? It just says Hedgehog Makes Red, Galaxy PLA. So I finally cracked it open. I saw this model and was like, this is sick. So it did a really good job. This was the model though that had the most stringing out of any of my models I printed. And I don't exactly know why. There's definitely, if I go close on this, let's see if we can focus on this. There's some stringing a little bit on this. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, but it's not a lot. And so I was really surprised to see that this with so many little retractions and movements didn't have as much stringing as this did. And so I'm not entirely sure what the cause was. It could be retraction setting, it could be temperature related. All the strings are like, you can see them. Let me see if I focus on this. You can see like little hairs on the egg there, and I already kind of peeled a little bit of them off. And they are really tiny. I mean, I'm basically gonna just hit this with a heat gun. They're very, very tiny. I don't know what caused them, but other than that little bit of stringing, I mean, the colors are awesome. The green onion looks great, the eggs look awesome. The bit of, I don't know if the bit of like texture you're seeing on the egg, it was in the model from like the polygons, or whether that was the infill. The one thing I will say, and I want to confirm this, but it seems like the default infill is grid infill, which I don't love. So I did notice like on the big Gengar, when it was doing the infill, it was dragging as the nozzle was crossing over the line. So that would be I need to recommend that to them as well. And let's confirm that I'm not wrong on that. But oops. So if I go SnapMaker PLA basic. Okay, no, okay, so it'd be quality. Let's go advanced. I'm sorry, I haven't used this computer for their slicer. I've been using my Mac. And then we go to strength. Yeah, so the default infill pattern on here is grid, and I really don't like grid. I mean, I used grid for the first 7 years of printing, but it's just really not a good infill. It's really just not a good infill because of the fact that on larger prints, especially, the nozzle just drags on the lines that it just laid down. So I've only used Generally speaking, I only use, for the most part, the default profiles included with the review unit because I want to test out the review unit like as if someone were to buy it and not do any tuning. So all the printing I've done has been 100% with the included profiles in here, which there aren't a ton of them. As far as filaments go, there's basically 3, which is just PLA. So that's, they need to add more profiles, which it might already be perhaps in a newer version of the slicer. But yeah, there's only 3. They have the generic profiles as well, so that's probably what I'll end up using because that's what they included. And then as far as the quality goes, they have quality, standard, and support, which I don't really know, honestly, what the difference is between them. I've been using... I don't actually know what I've been using. I'll have to check on the other computer which one I've been using. So I used to use grid, now mostly gyroid. Yeah, gyroid's good. I like rectilinear a lot as well. Yeah, grid is pretty good. Hey, Dom. This is SnapMaker Orca. Yeah, so it's my understanding that they have the U1 in Orca Slicer, but I think some of the backend stuff they don't have implemented yet into Becker here. What is the final ordeal? So far, so good, man. So far, largely good. I'm like 100 hours in over the last week with, I don't know how many tool changes. I wonder if it'll tell me. I want to look at the menu with you guys because I haven't actually looked at the whole menu system. But yeah, largely positive. Definitely largely positive. So yeah, the main thing is if you go to the device tab, they've got like a custom backend UI where you can sort of select your different devices. Like this whole section looks a little bit different here with the way you edit things. So I don't know. I assume that they can probably in Orca Slicer implement this code to where it doesn't show this until you select the SnapMaker U1 as your printer, but I'm not entirely sure really what that looks like on the back end. So I have been using SnapMaker Orca 2.1, which I think is a beta. Is there any reason to keep grid as infill pattern anymore? Any software, any utility to grid pattern? Not that I'm aware of, Kinker. Not that I'm aware of. I really don't know of any. Yeah, I really don't know of any reason to use grid infill still. There's so many other options. I mean, it used to just be like 2 or 3 different options when I started printing, and grid was just kind of old reliable, but I use rectilinear a lot. I like rectilinear, and then I would say rectilinear and gyroid are probably the main 2 that I use. The rest of them, like, I mean, some of them look pretty, some of them have other use cases that are kind of niche. Like I know Hilbert cube is sometimes used for like the first layer because it looks really cool, but yeah, I'm pretty much a rectilinear and gyroid guy. So let's take a quick look at the screen because now that it's done, I did also update the firmware after last week's stream. There was an over-the-air firmware update, and I don't exactly know everything that it changed, but I do know that based off me running at least 1 or 2 more bed levelings, that it definitely did change the number of points during the bed level. So the bed level is much quicker. It still does, I think it's like it's like a 6x6 or a 5x5, so it still takes a little bit of time, but compared to whatever it was doing on our stream, which I think was like an 11x11 or 12x12, it's certainly faster. So yeah, let's go through the menu on here. If there's anything specific anyone wants to see, just holler. I'm also going to try to answer things. It looks so pretty strong. What are the points? What are the points? What points? Like you being number 1? I don't know. I think I don't know. YouTube implemented some kind of a point system where you can get points for like, I thought just chatting gave you points, but I honestly don't know how that all works now. The new setting that lets you pick the wall thickness of your infill makes grid very useful. Got it. Only need a few grid lines to make a strong box. Okay, so there is some exceptions. I mean, I'm disappointed to see the enclosure will be delivered in March. Such a long wait. Yeah. Grid infill is nice when you do a modifier to print with no top bottom layers for venting airflow. So there is still use cases as we're seeing here. Maybe not for standard printing. Hey, RS. Grid is really good if all the strength is needed vertically. Depends on your use case. Top is going to be the best feature. Sucks takes so long to... Oh, best ship. Yeah. So under control, we've got our bed temperatures, which you can either enter in manually, or you've got, increments of 5, 20, or 50 Celsius. You've got a printing speed adjustment, which I haven't messed with at all. Can you even adjust? Maybe this is only, I assume you can only adjust that while it's actually printing. This looks a little blurry. There we go. Fan speed. So you've got the ability to slide across your cooling fan, or the assisted cooling fan is what they call the auxiliary fan, or yeah, auxiliary fan on the left side there. LED on or off, which it doesn't do a whole ton, but it's better than it's better than the LEDs. It's definitely better than the LEDs that are just like a tiny dot next to the camera. I think I can show you guys maybe with a print later how it looks, but it does something. Like, here's my hand, and if I turn it off, it does a little something. It's definitely not it's not winning any awards, but it at least checks the box of having a light. For tool heads, so you can adjust temperature on them if you want to heat them up. You can attach a tool head. So if I click attach, it's homing first. Let me bring you guys up. So it uses sensorless homing to the front left, and it homes multiple times, like bounces off, I think, to just verify it's actually at home. Yes, the Centauri Carbon's lighting is abysmal. It's really bad. Cool, so you can grab, if you want to grab something, and then you can heat it up, you can extrude or retract. You've got a manual movement. Sorry, it's hard to have both focused. You can move things, so if you want to jog, let's see, can you do increments? Yeah, so you've got 10 millimeters, 1 millimeter, 0.1. So this is 10 millimeters, so move it forward, move it to the left or to the right, and then bump up your bed. Axis movement. Okay, I didn't home Z, so that's why I can't do it. That makes sense. So it looks like you can home pressing the home button there, pretty standard stuff. And then if we go to our filament menu, this is kind of cool. I do like this. So because you've got filament loaded in basically everything, and because this isn't using a cutter, you can't just pull the filament out right when you want to unload it. You have to go through an unloading sequence. But the nice thing is you have two modes, load mode and unload mode. So unload mode, you can literally, like, if you want to swap out multiple colors, you don't have to just do one at a time. You can go, you know, I want to unload this one, and that one. Click unload. It'll grab each tool head. It'll purge a little bit of material, and then it will retract. So you can change multiple things at once. I haven't tried canceling. Let's see how it does the aborting process of unloading filament. But yeah, that was one thing where I was like, oh man, what's the unloading process going to be like? But I've unloaded like 2 or 3 spools at a time multiple times, and it does take a little bit of time. I don't know, I haven't actually done like a stopwatch. If I had to guess, I would say it's like a minute to a minute and a half per tool head, maybe. Okay, so right now it's back in unload mode. So you've got unload mode, and then I think we showed this last time, but for editing filament, you click on the edit tab, then you've got kind of neat. I mean, SnapMaker has showed that they're like advertising poly dryers, but kind of neat that you've got both access to SnapMaker's filaments, Polymaker's PLAs, PETGs, and ABS, and then you've got just your generic, you know, pretty good range of, actually a really big range of materials. So lots of PLAs, PTGs, PCTGs, PVAs, even polycarb, which I don't know if I print polycarb on this. I guess I don't know what the enclosure maybe. ASAs, TPUs, so pretty good selection of materials there. And then once you were to edit it, you would choose your color and then click save, but I don't think it'll let me because I didn't actually make a change. Those are what I had it at. What else do we have? So start this, so you can print from USB, and I'm assuming that the USB port for printing is the one on the back of the printer here. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't see another USB port. So printing over USB is certainly not, oh, sick. Andrew, thank you so much for the donation for the nerds, for the, oh, no, needs. For the needs more toolheads fun. Thanks, man. We'll do Hadouken. So, the USB, I haven't printed over USB at all. And if you are one that's like, I'm printing over USB, I will say that at the very least, what I'd probably do is get a USB extender and like mount it somewhere up here, because the USB port is quite literally, I'm not gonna show you because we looked at it before, but it's like, it's back here above the power plug. It's in an awful spot. I don't think they intended for anyone to print over USB. I think that's there more of like an accessory thing because it's right next to the add-on button. But all of my printing was done via the slicer, and you do have access to fluid interface, so you could just upload the file, and all the files I printed are then stored on the actual storage. Like you can see everything I printed from the beginning. So we went through all these: Dragon, Banana, Gengar. We've got the Mickeys, we've got the Exodia, the Spinner, Ghostface Bowl, and the Ramen. So you do have access to all that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the USB on the back's odd. I don't think, I strongly believe that they didn't intend for you to actually print over USB. It does have, I think I've been using like the equivalent of cloud mode, but it does have Wi-Fi printing. So if you don't want that, you could do Wi-Fi. I don't think I saw Ethernet. There's not Ethernet, but someone told me that they were going to allow for Ethernet, I thought last week someone said that they had said that. So, yeah. Hey, Jeeper. Hey, Ted. Hey, GPs. Watching in sunny Croatia. That sounds lovely. Enjoy some of that sun for me. It's definitely getting colder here. Hey, thank you so much. Dude, that effect is very cool. Thank you for whoever picked up a sweater. I hope you enjoy it. And I said last time when I had merch, like, I love seeing people wearing the sweater. So if you don't want to post your face, that's totally fine. But just like hoodie worn is always super cool. So thank you. And I also, yeah, big fan that it does actually show up on screen. It's very cool. So there's that. Yeah, I guess that will be a complaint of mine, because if I'm complaining about Cheaty and their USB location, I have to absolutely complain about SnapMaker's. I didn't even realize that it had an option to print over USB, because I've just pretty much exclusively been printing via the slicer, but it's just not, it's not in a spot that makes any sense. So let's go under settings. We've got account, Wi-Fi. So as I mentioned, you've got a LAN mode. I'm not in LAN mode, so I have been just using the cloud. However you feel about that, that is your opinion. I personally sacrifice the privacy of people knowing that I'm printing ramen bowls for the convenience, but if that's not you, totally fine. You can activate LAN mode and just print over local. We've got, what is that? Print preferences, extrusion failure detection. Interesting, so I don't have this on. Filament runout recovery. That's interesting, because mine ran out of filament and detected it ran out of filament, and I was able to continue. The Ghostface print ran out of filament. So I need to look into what exactly that means. I wonder if that is why I had to do some manual stuff when I ran out of filament, versus maybe if you have that on, it like automatically goes through some kind of a process. I'm not really sure, but let me take a photo of that and see if I can get some info on what exactly that means, because I don't know. Then auto loading, what is that all about? Disable auto loading. When enabled, auto loading will be disabled to the corresponding toolhead. Okay, so I have auto loading enabled based off that. We don't need to disable that. I assume that's probably something to do with these buffer things on the side, or these auto loaders on the side, which I really like using. I don't plan on getting rid of that. Device calibration, I think we've already seen. Yes, these are the things we ran through. Bed leveling, offset calibration. Someone asked me on Twitter whether the toolheads would lose calibration. Wow, thank you, whoever got that. Modbot School Bus Pocket. Oh, cool, that's the one with the little logo on the pocket. Thank you. I wish it said who purchased. I think it was the same way with the other platform as well, but thank you for the support, everybody. It's awesome. Hope you guys enjoy and like this stuff. Forever gets a shirt. I mentioned earlier that the shirts are definitely different. They're not as soft as the previous print-on-demand company, but they're a lot thicker, which will be nice for me, depending on where you live, but our winters are quite cold, so having a little bit more material isn't a bad thing to me. And I think that I'm really weird about shirts and necks. Like, the necks get really stretched out on a lot of them, so I'm curious to see how this holds up, but it does have like a pretty thick stitched, I'm gonna show it on screen. It does have a pretty thick stitched neck, so I'm hoping that means that it won't like get really saggy around the neck, because I don't know why I'm not really picky with what I wear, but I'm picky about how it fits. It's been a weird thing of me for most of my life. Please let us know if you have a response from SnapMaker. Was it regarding that stuff specifically, the filament detection and power loss, or whatever the other setting was? Nice. Yeah, so it's like new old merch, GPs. I launched a merch store. It's pinned in chat. I went finally with Fourth Wall. I've been wanting to wait till I had new designs, but because it's taken so long and because of the requests that I had, I was like, dude, all right, you just at least get the stuff up you had before. So the only one that's different is this one. there's different colors on everything, but this one specifically was only a logo on the hat before, and now it's a logo on a shirt. I thought it looked really cool, and so geez, you can't really see it, but it's looking towards the inside. So this is the one I picked up. But yeah, there is some merch. So when I'm able to, I'm definitely gonna pick up a shirt. Yeah, no rush. I appreciate, I mean, I've always said it, like, support is appreciated, but everybody hanging out here and just having a good time and chatting is like, that's all I ask for. So anything else is always appreciated, but yeah, never, you know, certainly not expected. Okay, so device calibration stuff, maintenance, I haven't looked at that. Manual leveling. Okay, so this, I really actually want to go through. I'm tempted to go through this with you guys. Manual leveling, because this is our current, let's take a look at this one more time. I would like to screenshot this. If you guys are cool with it, I think I'd like to run through manual leveling, because our screen, someone told me it was under jobs? What was it under? Jobs. No. Where was it under? Tune? Oh man, can we load, clear all? Okay. Yes, so this is what we were looking like on the last print. So we're at 1.02 millimeter deviation, and I think that we can improve this through manual leveling, especially like if this corner gets brought up, I would like to see if we can get this down to like 0.6. So I've only ever made one item through fourth wall. The work they delivered was very nice. Cool, that's good to hear. Yeah, I know they're a pretty big company. Their platform, like using it has been pretty nice. So I don't really have any complaints with that. So yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. That would be awesome. So do we want to do this? It says it'll take 10 minutes. Let's see if I get like, I don't know, 6 yeses. If I get a like ratio, okay, no, if we get 6 yeses in chat and no more than like 3 no's, I'll do it. I think it would be neat to see what the manual leveling process is and how it affects this, Okay, I've got 3 yeses for sure. 5. Okay, let's do it then. So also, someone told me, what's the shortcut on Windows for the snipping tool? You guys are the ones that told me it previously. I cannot remember it. I know how to open it using just the start button and going to the snipping tool, but somebody tell me what it is on Windows. I forget. I want to take a photo of this just so that way we can look at how it changed. Okay, I did Control S, which was say Control Shift S. Got it, thank you. Yeah, last time you guys saw me do like the whole Windows to get to it, and you kind of scolded me a little bit. So, all right, let's go desktop, and we'll just call this pre-level mesh. Cool. All right, so yeah, let's do it. Let's see what it goes. I know that in the back end, under the Clipper macros, they have a macro for manual leveling where it should be using the sensor to help us with this, but I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to look like through here. So, cool. Oh, let me take off. There's a little bit of filament right here. A little bit of filament right there. I just got done printing the chopsticks for the ramen before the stream, so I got excited and showed Aaron and haven't cleaned it up yet. This is gonna be my first printer. I'm in the November slot, which I think means I get it in January anyways. Very excited, also a bit overwhelmed watching this. I don't know what I'm doing. Honestly, based off what I've done so far, I think you're gonna be in good shape. If they only improve from here, as far as firmware and calibration and stuff goes, I think you'll be in good shape, man. Obviously, there's other factors involved, like how resourceful you are, I guess, but considering like just how far 3D printers have come, I think you'll be fine. I'm not worried. My biggest request to you would be to not change a bunch of settings until you have gotten a handful of successful prints under your belt. I am a good example of, oh, I changed something and I don't know why it's not working. And that's fine because I don't have any issue diving in and like breaking things more till I fix it. But if someone's starting out, I would just leave things as is. I would start with just some fairly simple prints. And once you get those like wins under your belt, you'll start to build up that confidence, and then you can sort of, you know, deviate and experiment all you want, of course. But that's at least my recommendation. If you create a custom filament in Orca, can you sync that up to the printer so you can select it on the printer when loading up filament? I don't believe that's a thing, but I won't place the PEI sheet. Wait, place the PEI sheet. Yeah, cool. So oh, there's filament hanging from here. So for this one, it says we want the PEI sheet on, which is fine because I do have the PEI sheet on. Also, the adhesion's been phenomenal. I mean, it is just powder coated PEI, but I have had great adhesion. This is the biggest prime tower I've had. And this was from the Ghost Face, and it looks like a lot, but down here, like if you can see my thumb right here, it's very hollow, very hollow at the base. It's more large at the base just so that way the whole thing doesn't fall over. It's really not a lot. So what I think I'm gonna do is when I do the review for this printer, which hopefully in a few weeks time I'll be at a point where I can at least do like, hey, here's my 30-day review of this thing, is I will show the print, I will measure on a scale the weight in grams of the purge block, or the prime tower, I guess what it's called, and then I will slice in bamboo as close of a profile as I can get and show what the waste material and time will be. I'm hoping I can do that because I know that that's something people will be interested in. Okay, so yeah, it says place PEI sheet, cool. So PEI sheet is on. So I think this is going to be fully assisted. I'm pretty sure it's going to go around and probe on the spots where the little leveling thing is and tell us where we need to adjust it based off the macro I saw. You need to redo the t-shirt that I posted on Discord. Redo the t-shirt I posted on Discord? I'll have to look at that. Okay, next follow the instructions to manually adjust the 4 leveling wheels. Yeah, so it looks like this is assisted manual bed leveling, which is way nice. Next. So it says, refer to the illustrations below and manually rotate the 4 leveling wheels until the surface of the wheels is flush with the end of the screws. Okay, got it. So I am just going to adjust these. I'm just feeling with my finger right now. Basically, there's these, here, I can bring you guys down actually so you can see this. So is that a thick bed or I think it's a thin one. I'm pretty sure it's a thin bed. Yeah, it's definitely, like if you look underneath her. Oh, oops, sorry guys. Bring you guys down and look up. It's a thin, it's similar to like what everyone is using, like Bamboo and everyone, regarding what the bed is. So it does have a steel frame, but it is a thin bed. Also, I am not under NDA. The only request that I basically had, which I said I'm fine with, is that they did request not to do a complete teardown of the machine until January. And out of respect to them and not having someone else just see insides, and I'm assuming it's for like copycatters to basically like not just start pumping out their version of the U1, I will not do a full teardown. I don't normally do a full teardown anyway, but they did request until January because I did get a unit prior to like all of the Kickstarter one shipping, that I wouldn't do that. But aside from that, I can basically say and do whatever I want. I did not sign any, actually, that's not entirely true. I did sign something, but it was a very loose, NDA. I'm lying, I did, sorry. I did have to sign something. But a very loose one, yeah. Basically the only requirement was not to do a full teardown. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead, and this feels approximately flush. This one needs to be loosened a little bit. I generally try to respect manufacturers' wishes regardless of NDAs or not, especially if I believe there was another beta tester that did a full teardown already. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like that wasn't something that was in the thing that I signed, but it was requested afterwards, and I said, that's fine, that feels realistic. The things I'm not okay with are like, unless it's a sponsored video, which I've never done a sponsored video that's in the form of a review because I don't know how, that feels like a slippery slope and I've never felt comfortable navigating that. But like, I try to respect manufacturers' wishes, but I will never let a manufacturer see a video before I release it, but I will always work with the manufacturer if I run into issues to try to figure out what the correct solution is. That doesn't mean that the issue won't make it in the video, but it does mean that I can at least show what the company did and how proactive they were to fix that issue. Okay, so I did that basically as best I can. I don't know if it's perfectly flush, but we're close enough. So next, so now it's basically going to go ahead and probe 4 areas, probably right above where, no, it's not right above where the adjustment points are. It's basically probing the four corners. You need to be constructive. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no printer is perfect, right? No thing is perfect in this world. And so I always tell people that, manufacturers, that, hey, like, my goal is, like, I'll point out the good, the bad. Some of the things that I think are good, other people won't like. Some of the things I think are bad, other people won't care about. And then it's up to the viewer to decide, you know, do the things that I think are bad matter to them, and what, like, I try my best to let the viewer come up to their own conclusion. Okay, so this says adjustment wheels. So now it's saying on here, it says rotate the leveling wheels and the green slider at the bottom will move accordingly. Wait at least 2 seconds after the green slider reaches the center before tapping next. Okay, so it's showing me that, like, to turn, if I were to turn it counterclockwise, no, that's clockwise. So if I turn it clockwise, it'll be to the left, but the green's already there, and turn it counterclockwise will go to the right. So in this instance, I am going to, is it just bouncing? What's it doing? Yeah, so it's just bouncing in place right now, waiting for me to adjust it. So let's turn it a little bit. Okay, don't see any change. Turn it a little bit more. Still don't see any change. Maybe I need to turn it a lot more. Let's just keep turning it, I guess. Okay, I feel like I have basically turned it as much. Oh, okay. So that was a slow reaction. Now it's jumped all the way to the right. So now I've turned it too much. So let's back off a little bit. And you have to wait until, okay, so it's a really small, okay, there we go. Okay, so now we've got a green light. Hey, Lee Smiths, I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Welcome. Thanks for becoming a member again. Let's do cheers. Thank you so much. Sometimes the issue is actually you, so it's worth sorting it out before you release it. Yeah, there is some exceptions to that. Like, I generally try to work with manufacturers, but if there's something that I'm blatantly like, no, this is just not safe, or it's an oversight. Okay, now it's a little, that's fine. That's close enough. We're within the range, so we'll go next. So now it's moving. It moved, you can't, maybe you saw from the top, but basically it moved to the back. And the back is now showing it needs to go the other direction. So let's do that. It's a pretty narrow range. Like, it doesn't start moving until you're really within range. Let me... Okay, so that's pretty close to where we need to be. I'll do it a hair more. I mean, I think the goal should be to get it up. This one's moving a little bit. Okay, so yeah, we'll move it a hair more, just like a tiny. Let's see how that goes. That's pretty close. So that looks pretty good. I don't know if I'm getting the enclosure. I will agree with what everyone said, that $150 for the enclosure feels kind of pricey for what it is. I might end up getting it, or I might try to wait and see if somebody comes up. Like, I know that they're gonna release, like, the firmware is open source if they haven't already. I don't know if they're releasing the, like, machine. It would be really cool if they did release the whole machine as open source. I kind of doubt that's gonna happen, but I sort of want to wait and see what people come up with, because there's like little holes, or not little, they're like little grip things here that I assume is for the enclosure to mate with. And then there's not actually any mounting points. So yeah, I don't know. I might wait to see if someone comes up with something that, like, maybe uses printed corners with, like, extrusions, and then see what the cost are. I don't know. I guess that's, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. Okay, so now we're on the third one. This definitely makes manual bed leveling a lot easier, though, because you're not having to use the piece of paper. I do think it's a good idea to learn how to use a piece of paper for manual bed leveling, but this definitely simplifies the process by just follow the on-screen prompts. Okay, so that looks like maybe it was too much. Yeah, that was too much. Okay, that's closer. It's really close. We'll do one last little, I'll probably overshoot it because it's really tough to get it exact. Ah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll call that good. Okay, last one. No doubt a mod will be done for this. Was surprised how cheap PC is when bought as stock sheet. Do we find out if port 22 is open? I haven't done anything like that. I think that they'll probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they'll give us access or not, but you have access to like the fluid interface as well as the config file, so you can make adjustments there. But I don't know what their intention is regarding like being able to SSH into it. That looks pretty good. Okay. I don't know if it'll do maybe one final test. Yeah. So it's gonna, now that we've adjusted them, it's gonna do one more probe of all of them. And I assume that's because when we adjusted the 4 corners, it could have impacted one of the corners we already leveled. So see what it does here. Not sure what fluid is. I don't know how to go to the clipper screen. Did you just type the IP address on the computer? Yeah, I just typed, so fluid is just the web interface. Fluid is just like the web interface running on Clipper that allows you to sort of interface with it. And I just typed in the IP address. And I don't know, you might be able to get the IP address directly from here under the Wi-Fi or like, you know, network setting stuff. But for me, like this is just like an app that has my connected devices. And so I've got U1 for obviously the SnapMaker U1. If I click on that, oh gosh, that's not very clear. You can see the IP address right there. So that's all that I did. Okay, so yeah, it is having me adjust the leveling again. I'm gonna try to go through it a little bit quicker now just because of the fact that we've already done this. And I'd like to move beyond this now. Oh, it's really having me adjust more. I thought it would be at least close. Okay, we'll just call that. Okay, we're gonna call that good. Yep. This should be good. Okay. Curious to see how many rotations it's going to take for this to actually like settle in the right spot, because considering we just did this, it looks like it has shifted quite a bit. Also, curious about filament on the nozzle. I don't know that it cleaned itself before we did this. That might have an impact. I just realized that, like, I don't know that I saw it clean itself. Okay, that's good. I'm trying to see what the nozzle looks like. It's got like a tiny dot, but it's probably fine. I do think there should be a cleaning routine before it does this though, so that could be an improvement here. Okay, that looks good. So let's see. The proper manual trimming is intimidating for me, so I haven't tried it yet on the A1, but this seems so much easier. Yeah, it's not bad. This is, I've never done it on the A1. The only reason I'm even doing on this is because I was able to see what it looked like from you know, receiving it. And I'm curious to know whether that's just what the bed's gonna be like, or whether that was maybe shipping potentially skewed the bed a little bit, so we can correct it. Hey, Killa. Yeah, I've printed a ton, dude. Like, from the time we unboxed it last week to now, I think I've got like 86 hours or so on it. So hopefully this will only take 1 or 2 max rotations. It should be getting close. Just join the Discord. Oh, cool. Nice. Thanks for joining. Okay, so tabbing is adjust again. Hey, Nick, thank you so much for the 18 months, man. Did you see the little banana I printed? Okay, so I will say it is getting closer, because right now it's requiring much smaller adjustments this time around. Yeah, we're gonna call that good. That looks pretty dang spot on. I'm hoping that this is it. Okay, we'll call that good enough. Oh, wow. That was like, I nailed that one. All right. This was by far a lot smaller of an adjustment. Like, this one's already close to center. It would have been neat to see what it was like before doing this. Okay, that looks good. All right, let's see. Is this it, or we got one more? Did it preheat the bed so you're leveling it temporary? It's just cold. Yeah, it's just cold right now. At temp probably wouldn't have been a bad idea. Steve! Thank you so much for the 41 months, man. I got to do sound effects for you, Nick. I gotta ask a question. Everybody. For viewers watching, is this still a beta unit? No, this is first batch. So the sound effects. Do we hate the sound effects? Because over the last, I don't know, 2 years of having sound effects, I've gotten a couple of comments here and there about like, oh, the sound effects are too much or too loud. And it hasn't been a lot of people, but it makes me wonder how many people that don't comment also feel the same way. Oh, manual loading successful. We did it. Sweet. Okay, so one loves it. I'm just curious, like, okay, so let's just do in chat, like, okay, what are the options gonna be? Let's say, okay, if you love it, that's great. So put either like love it or think it's fun is the same. Feel indifferent is number 2, and then hate it is number 3. And there's no judgment. Let's see. Don't hate it, love it, I like it, they're fine. Sound effects are cool, need some variety. Okay, I agree with that. Sound effects are the best. Sound effects are fun. I prefer farts, perfect. Hey, Viking, all good on the sound effects, they're great. Okay. Neither love or hate. I think they're more fun, love it. Okay, so most people don't hate it, at least. It's either like you're fine with it or you're indifferent. Okay, cool. So it is like maybe just a few people. I just was like, after seeing the comment, thought to myself, I should probably just do a vote to see whether I am misreading the crowd and everyone is actually hating every time I hit a button on here. New variety, I totally agree. I do agree. The only ones we've got so far are the air horn, the cheers, the squirrel sound, the Hadouken, this one because I'm always talking about food. And then we got Ninja Turtles. And then when something was difficult, we go like this.
That was easy.
Which is appropriate for this leveling. And then if I drops a screw or something like that, we've got So little loud sometimes, but keep. Okay, I can work on the volume of it as well. So now that we've got this thing manual leveled, I do want to run a quick bed leveling. I'm also curious too to check the config file, because it definitely, it's doing a smaller mesh now. And I'm curious to see whether that was something that changed in the config file or how they've implemented that. And I cannot remember from last week's stream actually what the bed mesh, let me just do this. Bed mesh, wait, bed mesh? Am I doing this wrong? No results. What is it? What is the, okay, I'll just do bed. Okay, so now it's doing a 5x5. At least according to this, it's doing a 5x5. I'm just curious to see. I know it was like an 11x11 last week when we did it, so I just want to see whether I can see the adjustment here. Why am I not seeing it? Bed mesh, speed, acceleration, samples, mesh min, mesh max. Shouldn't it be here? Why am I not seeing it? My lift speed, horizontal move. I'm very confused. I feel like there should be a thing here that says, okay, regardless, let's do a bed mesh calibration here. Let's go home and let's see if there's a macro for it somewhere. Auto bed mesh calibrate. There we go. Okay, I just want to see whether what we just did actually made a difference in our wait, is it meshing? No, it's not. Did it error out? What's going on? Console. Auto bed mesh calibrate. Maybe it overrided it because it was saying manual bed mesh. Try it again. Oh no, it's doing it. It's heating up the bed. Okay. Yeah, it's heating up the bed at 55 Celsius. Is it doing camp? It's not doing camp. Unless that is a good question. When I ran bed mesh, because when you run a print from the screen or from the slicer, you have the option to select like the pressure, like pressure advance or whatever their term is for it, as well as bed mesh, as well as time lapse. And I don't believe I've ever seen it run camp. So I'm curious as to whether they have that enabled here. We go under settings. No, that's not right. Sorry, I'm a little bit, the fluid interface is a little bit XYZ offset calibration factory, so there's nothing there. I'm pretty sure if we look at the bed mesh, auto bed mesh calibrate. No, so I'm pretty sure that the bed mesh calibrate macro, or like that command, is just your standard bed mesh. Because you have access to this interface, I would imagine that you could just basically adapt this to say, what is it? What's the code? It's like bed mesh calibrate, is it variable or whatever? Like it's built into Clipper now, as long as this is on a new version of Clipper. But the thing I think though is that if you were to modify this file, then I would think that you probably could not update the firmware officially anymore, because updating the firmware officially, I believe, and I could be wrong, would probably overwrite this to whatever changes they've made. I assume they have like a blanket version of this that gets flashed every time you update the firmware. I could be wrong. That's just an assumption, but it looks like the comment, it's auto-saved at the end of the file. You're saying you saw it down here? Bed mesh default. Yeah, I don't believe it's doing any sort of adaptive meshing right now. So. I'm so excited to be able to do TPU plus other filament prints. Yeah, that is one thing I definitely want to do. I know that 24/7 printing did like a combination of PLA and TPU for, I think it was a bone, like a foot bone or whatever. Also pretty cool to see, like after all those prints I've done up there, granted we have the prime towers, but this is all the purge for a total of, how many prints have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the hue forges were 8, 9. So for 10 prints, that's all the purge material. And the purge material is basically just at the start of the print, or if I have it run the like pressure advance calibration thing that it does, it purges a little strand. But that is like the amount of filament that would have been in there with a single nozzle changing system. It would have, I've been filling it, or I would have been dumping it out probably 10 to 15 times now. Especially, I mean, even the small prints that are like Gengar's got 4 colors, the ramen bowl, this would have been so much purged filament with 4 colors on the same layer. So it's pretty awesome. Can't wait to see how it works with combination of different materials. Yeah, I'm super curious about it as well. Right now, the main things I'm thinking of, so we're still heating up. We're at, why are we heating up so slow? Oh, we're not heating up slow. It just wasn't updating the number on the screen. Error code. I wonder if that's because of the fact that I didn't home it first. Okay, let's try leveling it from the printer then. Let's just go under settings. Or should I, yeah. Jack? You awake from your nap? Device calibration. Heated bed leveling. Start. Okay. So we'll let it do its thing. I think Jack's coming up to say hi. Oh. Go around her. She was growling. That's not nice. You want bring him down? Yeah. Okay. Okay. You can say hi, then afterwards I'll carry you down, Mom says, okay? You want to stand up here? 1, 2, and 3. Hold on, let me get you on camera so you can say hi, okay? Let's see. Can you say hi? You got your Delilah? Yeah. Did you have a good nap? That is our sea cars. Is that spooky? Yeah. It's scary, huh? What about this one? Banana. This is ramen. The soup. See, these are, you know, when Daddy eats Chinese food and he uses chopsticks? It's chopsticks. You like Gengar? Look at his tongue. Yeah. Yeah. He's a ghost Pokemon. Let's see. So the error I got on, that is a like fidget spinner thing. So the error I got on screen, the printer is calibrating itself. Oh, Lisa says hi. Jack Daddy needs help. Love you, Daddy. Oh, I got it. The error I got on here says failed to change state, invalid state transition from screw tilt adjust to bed leveling. So it seems like the print, yeah, spooky, huh? It seems like the printer, when it did the screw tilt adjust, teeth? He doesn't have teeth. Oh, this guy, yeah, he has teeth. Yeah, Gengar has teeth. It seems like for some reason when it got stuck in the screw tilt adjust state, it didn't like going to bed leveling. Eyes? Yeah. Yeah, he has spooky eyes. I have a feeling that if I had done it from the screen itself, it probably wouldn't have had an error. Look, it's doing another long, why is it doing another long, this is super weird, yeah. So it's still, oops. So it's doing another like 11 by 11 mesh, which I'm not exactly sure why. Yeah, error. So maybe it's because, what? The filament? Oh, that is number 1. So here's what I'm thinking then. Because I know it did not do a 10 by 10 or 11 by 11 when I did the bed leveling before the print. So maybe, yeah. So maybe SnapMaker has it set up currently where when you run the initial calibration or the calibration from the screen for bed meshing, it does an 11 by 11. And when you run it from the slicer before print, it does a quicker version of it. I can't see why you would want that, because if you run this, are you being silly? Yeah. I can't see why you'd want that, because if you run an 11 by 11 right now, and then you run a print and have it do like a 5x5, the 5x5 is going to be overriding the 11x11. So why, it doesn't make sense. So that's something I should probably start writing some notes down. I should probably write some notes down. Yeah. You can hang up here. You can hang out up here for 2 minutes. Then I have to carry you downstairs, Mommy. Say, okay? 2 minutes. Do you have a good nap? Yeah. Do you have nice dreams? Yeah. You dreamed of what? Soda pop. You dreamed of soda pop? So, the nice thing about it doing a really long mesh right now is that at least we can get an apples to apples comparison of what the mesh looks like. If you guys are cool with it, I'd like to get into the slicer after this. We can take a look at what it looks like to assign color. I know GP said that. And I'm really curious to see what the max like flow rate, or like what the max flow rate is of these standard nozzles with just PLA. Because I have no idea. We can check to see what their profiles are set at, and I assume that's filament, yeah. Under the PEI plate in the left back corner is a sensitive pressure sensor. Yeah, the pressure sensor. Yeah, baby.
What's that?
What's what, baby?
That.
That? That's an electrical outlet.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so GP's, on the first video we showed it, and I can show it too if you want, but when I remove the back plate, there's basically like a square cutout in the build plate that's like kind of got a curved inlet to it. And so the nozzles go in there and like touch the base to get the Z offset, and then touch the side walls to get the X and Y offset. It's completely automated. Is it a pressure sensor? I didn't think it was a pressure sensor. I thought it was like a conductive. I thought it was conductive. Yes, Jackson. What's in your hand? Oh, that's a filament. That's called a poop. That's a filament poop. Yeah, the printers have to poop too. Exactly. You see Jack? Oh, he's hidden behind the text. What's that? That is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. That is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. All right, so we're like halfway through this. So once this is nearly done, I will run Jackson downstairs, and then we'll take a look at the mash, and then we'll get into other stuff. But I think this is interesting to see, like, if it does make a difference, and people get these printers, and it shows that they're, you know, that their bed is not very leveled, then it might be something that's just I recommend doing. The power outlet, all the cables plug into, that's electricity. That's what's powering the computer and the lights and the camera and the printer. Jackson has been saying the cutest things lately. Like, he does this a lot. He goes, let me think. Or he'll go, I have an idea. Huh. You go, I have an idea. The other day he did that. He said, the TV? Yeah. That's chat, people watching. Yeah, we are gonna open up the giveaway too, probably in about 15 minutes here. It will be a shorter stream than last week. Last week was 3.5 hours, and because of the electrician coming, I have to do a few things. What's that? That is a big printer, huh? That's a smaller, tiny printer. Yeah, that's not, you know, that's not a toy, right? That's not a toy. It's not a toy. I know it looks fun and it lights up, but it's not a toy, buddy. He loves moving the tool heads on the printers back and forth, and I'm like, one of these days he's gonna do it too quickly, and the motors are gonna generate electricity and damage something. But hey, can you leave that? That's, the printer doesn't like being pushed like that. Okay, we're almost done. I gotta carry you downstairs now, buddy. You gotta go downstairs. I know. I will. You can take the Yu-Gi-Oh card downstairs. Take the card with you, okay? You say bye, everybody. Here. Stand up. You say bye. Bye. All right. You're a proud owner of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'll be right back, everyone. Just 2 seconds. Okay. You okay? Mommy said because Delilah wasn't being very nice. Okay. Okay, we're officially done, and I'm nervous. What do we think? Do we think that our mesh is better? Do we think I was able to improve it with my little wrist magic, or do we think the mesh is gonna be the... Let's get some opinion in chat. Is the mesh the same, better, or worse? We'll take a look right now. I'm just curious. I want to see if people believe that I made an improvement. Okay, we got 2 people saying better. All right. Okay, significantly better. That's wow. All right, I don't know. You guys are a little... No way. 0.2? I don't think so on this build plate. All right, here we go, everyone. It was under what? It was under jobs? No, tune. Oh wow, that is better than I was expecting. Can you guys see that? That's awesome. I'm really happy about that, actually. Oh, I think it... Yeah, can you guys load it again? Wow. So I will... Oh, I think it's restarting Clipper really quick. One sec. It has to... Wait, it's running another mesh? No, stop. Oh, you know what? It's because it was working when I told it to bed mesh. Oh no. Okay, I'm just gonna kill the power. Hold on. So I guess the reason why it aired out wasn't because I typed it in, is because I typed in bed mesh calibrate twice when it was already in the middle of bed mesh calibrating. So hopefully I can load that mesh again in a second here, and then we can compare it to the one I had before. But we went from 1.04 millimeter deviation of the bed to 0.3, which if I was going to put money on it, I would have said that we were going to get to around maybe 0.6 is what I was thinking. So that is wait, it already deleted the mesh? No, don't say that. I'm hoping that it saved it and didn't overwrite. We'll see. I'm not convinced it overwrote the mesh. I think it might have saved it. Hold on. No. It saved it. Yes. It seemed like it was doing a save command afterwards. So okay, you said Control Shift S. So just for anyone that didn't see the previous mesh, I am really pleased with this. So let's go mesh. Oops. Mesh after manual. All right. This makes me really happy because it actually feels like it was well worth doing what we did there. So this is the pre-level mesh. Okay. And this is the post-level mesh. And I know it looks bumpier. That's because we're in a much smaller range now. So we went from oh, you guys can't see. Dang it. Bring it down. There we go. So we started at 1.0217 and we got it down to 0.3729. That is a major win. That is a major win in my book. I think with tramming you can get it to 0.2. Yeah, you probably could get it down even further. You could probably get it down even further through either tramming or shimming, likely. But I think the H2C will be way better. I doubt it. I doubt it. I remember the X1 Plus guys, when they basically like hacked the X1 Carbon's firmware, the bed mesh values that they were pulling off of it was pretty bad. The printer just does a really good job of compensating for it. And I've had no issues really printing on this printer with a 1 millimeter deviation in bed. The auto leveling compensation has been fine. So getting it down, you know, to less than half of that feels really good. So awesome, that's great. So let's go ahead and take a look now at the slicer. We can just go ahead and import a file. Let's go. We'll go Maker World. There's just a lot of multicolor stuff on Maker World. So it wasn't heated when I did the manual leveling, but it was heated when it did the automatic bed leveling to 60 Celsius. Let's just find like something relatively simple so I can just show you guys what the process is like. Oh, that's an adorable Pikachu. Let's see, something simple, something simple. Let's go trending most downloads over the last 30 days. Just looking for like a simple, here's like that one's probably a good example of a little cat model. This is how many colors? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do this little guy. This little Jason. Oh wow, there's a bunch of them. Okay, so let's download this. You can only download up to 5 models. Oh. I will log in then. My email is public, so I'm fine with you guys seeing my email. It's not a... 270 watching, only 92 likes. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, smack the like button. We can get... Last week, I think our target was 200 likes. If we have 270 people watching, we can hit that. Okay, so downloaded the 3MF file. You can also download the STL file, but if you download the STL file, it won't contain any of the like painting data. So I would probably recommend downloading a 3MF if you have the ability to. And then we will go to we'll go File, Open Project, discard any settings that are here, and then we will open. Did it save it as a zip file? Is that why I'm not seeing it? No, it did not. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, it's on the desktop. Got it. Okay, let's try this again. It's not usually where my downloaded files go. So open project, discard those settings again, desktop, and there we go. Is that new? That 3MF files on Windows can contain an image of what the model looks like? I've never seen that. I'm usually on Mac, but that is very cool. So it's gonna load it. It's probably gonna load it for a bamboo printer because it's from Maker World. The configuration may be generated by a newer version. Some values have been replaced. Okay. Okay. All right, that is not a good file. I didn't realize that this was a, this is the final version, yeah. New like button images. YouTube has been changing things forever. Did they break anything new? Okay, let's go with a different one. I didn't realize that this was a oh, if I could read, it says no AMS. All right, so we want something that actually does require a multi-material printer, so we can show this. So we can do the cats, but I'd like to show something with maybe 4 colors. That's kind of cool. I'm feeling a little bit like Halloween festive, if you can't tell. All right, let's try this. Did I screw up again? Is it really 3? Okay, guys. Holy cow! Someone get me a proper multicolor model. Where you said you can see that it's going to be on 3 plates. Where am I looking at on here that I can see it'll be in 3 plates? I see like a bill of materials for the colors that they chose. It's so funny considering like almost all bamboo printers. Okay, this knitted ghost. This is absolutely going to be a single. This is going to be a single color thing. There's no wait. The eyes. It's not. There was a 1-plate version. Right under the name of the item, you can click to download. Oh, got it. Okay, so let's go back to the one we were at, which was. You said there was a 1 plate. AMS. Got it. Got it. Thank you. I always usually just go with the designer's version of it, but that's probably my bad then. I didn't realize that was the case. Thank you. I'm learning. All right, open project. So this is the 1 plate. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, guys. The hell? Alright. What is going on here? Somebody get me a model. What in the world? I want. Usually I have the easiest time finding multicolor models on here because it's a bamboo like backed website, so there should be plenty of multicolor models. All right, you know what I'm gonna do here? Let's just go to printables. I know Wexter has some like mini figs. We printed out his Chewbacca a while back. Here, let's just do this. What is going on here? There we go. Oh, all right. Okay, so let's search Wexter and go under users. There he is. I pay for his club and store. So let's see what he's got. Let's find something. Doesn't have to be something complicated. Like here's perfect. Let's do a mini Goku. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like you could do it in like 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 5 colors. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. Because he has an XL. I know he has an XL, so that's why he does a lot of stuff in 5 colors. I mean, we could do, these don't have to be in 5 colors. Okay, let's actually do that, okay? Because they don't have to be in 5 colors. Let's grab this guy. We'll just make his face match his eye color, I suppose. So under files, he's got a 3MF file. Wait, Orco? Where's that? Orco, mini Orco. There we go. All right. This is still probably too many colors, but that's fine. It doesn't matter, I guess, for the sake of what we're doing. Orco multicolor, perfect. Well, I'm curious to see if this ever ends up being able to do more than 4 colors, because they have an add-on for it. For what I do, like generally 4 is more than enough. Really, I don't do a ton of multicolor printing. I'm doing it more just to test out the machine. Not that I have anything against multicolor printing. I think it's really cool, and Jackson loves it. But, cool. Okay, so here's our little guy. And we have our SnapMaker U1, great. So if we set this so that way there's 4 filaments, and we click a drop down, it'll automatically show the machine filaments. So typically what I do is, I have not seen any sync. Yeah, it is floating right now. It's gonna need supports. It has a little base thing that goes in it. So that's why he has this as a model. Like, this is not an ideal model to print. It's more like a resin print in my opinion, or he has it modeled up where you can print out the pieces separately. But I'm just doing this for the sake of showing you guys like the way the slicer works here. So I have yet to see any sort of like synchronized filaments with what the machine has loaded. So you basically click, and I just start off by selecting, you know, the filaments I have loaded up on the printer. You can obviously change those, you know, prior to doing this if you want. So it will automatically assign colors, like whatever it had for whatever it had assigned on here for filament 1, it'll change once I put my colors in. And so because this, I believe, is just a single model, if we go to objects, okay, so this is cool. So with Orca Slicer, like right now, the way Wexter has this, okay, so let me try to explain this. So there's basically like 2 ways to go about multicolor printing. You have single models that you can paint or that have been painted. So you'll import them and it'll be actually just one file that's painted. And to adjust that, you have to go into the painting configurator of the slicer, or in the case of like Wexter, who does a lot of models, he has all of these as individual models. So in here, you've got, you know, what is this, 8 different pieces. So like, let's say you wanted the hat, or that's not the hat, what is that? That's the shirt. He doesn't have it named very well, but like, let's say you have the shirt you want, you can change the color if you just either right click on it or double click, and then you can say, cool, I want the shirt to be white. And now it's white. Oh, you can't see, goof me. So like, in this case, he has them all as separate STL files that are basically, it's essentially 8 different models, but they're all placed in accordance to where they're supposed to be. So it makes it really nice if you want to adjust things. So like, you can go through here and like, this is the shirt. This is, looks like the eyes. This is the ears. This is the bandana or scarf. Okay, that's the eyes. The other one was the face. And so you can choose like, okay, I want this one we see is the letter O on his chest. So if you want like O and his hat, no, this was his hat. Yeah, to be a different, that's his shirt. Where's his hat? That's his hat. And that's the O. So you select the ones you want to change color, you right click, and you can click select filament, and then it'll let you assign those. So we want, let's say we want his hat and the O to be gold, because that's what we have loaded. You click on that, and now his hat, and that's gold. So it's assembled, yeah. So it's assembled in the slicer. So that is one way to go about multicolor. The other option is like, if you have a model that's not multicolor, you can paint it. And so depending on the model, like organic models, like ones that have figures and stuff like that, are really time consuming to paint because there's not a whole lot of automation. But like, if let's use a Benchy, for example, because it's simple. So this model is just the Benchy, right? Single model. And if we want it to be multicolor, well, we can find multicolor versions of it, that of course. But let's just assume this wasn't a Benchy and this was a model that you want in multicolor, but you don't have the ability to get a multicolor model. Well, you can select it, and then you can go to, which one is this one? No, it supports scene painting, color painting. So this will open up this window, and you've got access to your 4 filaments that you've told that SnapMaker has loaded. And so you can change these filaments right from the printer itself, or if you go on your device and you want to, you can change the color. Like if you know you're going to actually load red into slot 1, which I think we already have a red, so let's do a different color. Let's do like, I don't know, pink. You're gonna do pink in slot 1. Great, you can choose it, and now this will update. Is there a save button I didn't see? Why don't I see a save button? Maybe it's not letting me overwrite it because of the fact that I don't know why it's not. I've changed it before in here, but it was on the Windows. It was on Mac. I wonder. You know what? It's probably not letting me change it because this is a, is this one of their filaments? No, it's not. It is. No, it's not. I don't know why it's not letting me change this. But generally speaking, you can change what color you want, and then when you go over to painting, it would load those colors. But that's essentially, still load the volumetric flow test and config settings. Yeah. I'm not going to go through painting the whole thing. We have a bunch of options. Like you can choose like, okay, I want red. And then this is, if you've ever used any sort of like, let me turn off my, or let me move. No, that's not what I want. Let me move. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I know a lot of people here are familiar with this, but for those that aren't, let me just move myself over here. So you've got different like paint brushes, right? So you've got a circle. So you can literally just click and paint with a circle, like a flat circle. You've got a sphere, so it's a 3-dimensional sphere, which lets you hit different parts of the model. Triangles, which literally lets you click and paint just different polygons of the model. The main one I use is fill a lot when I can. And so with this one, you basically adjust the smart fill angle. So a smaller number will not fill in as much, and a bigger number will fill in more. So it was at 30, I think, by default. So you can quickly paint things like this. So bam, we want that to be red. We want the inside to be red. We want this to be red. So there's a bunch of ways that you can adjust models. This is a pretty simple model to paint because it has fairly hard edges. But when you get to models that have a lot of sort of like curved surfaces, it becomes much more difficult, and you'll be able to use the brush, or you'll be able to use what I'm doing for like filling in some details, but you'll still have to go in and like clean up small areas using the manual, manual painting tool like that. So yeah, that's basically it. There's not a whole lot different with the slicer, honestly, guys. It's really Orca slicer. You have a model with curves, use the change it layer for the base color. If you have a model with curves, use the change it layer for the base color. I need more info on that, what that means. Hey, GTR. Yeah. I mean, this is really the main difference area here. So what do we want to do? We've got still a little bit of time. I'm really tempted to just run a max flow rate test. I think it'd be interesting to see what one of these can do with just like a standard PLA. Let's do file, new project. Also, I'm gonna open up the giveaway here. So I'm gonna remove the merch link, and I will post the giveaway. The U1's been pretty good, man. Like overall, I've been really happy with it. I think I've got, was it 83 to 86 hours on it from last week. And it's largely been a positive experience. I haven't had any issues with docking. The only issues really I've had was filament loading. It doesn't like if the filament is like bent at the very end from where you had it kind of bent over the side of your spool. Should have cut that off. And then I had a weird issue when it ran out of filament. In error code it throws up when it runs out of filament. Doesn't really make sense. I was able to get it working. Like this guy ran out of black filament somewhere on his head, and I was able to get it to resume, but the error code it threw up, and the way you navigated it was just not very good. It didn't make it obvious what the issue was. Like I knew I was out of filament, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I did tell them that if they can have a better, like a richer definition of what's happening, or like a QR code that will take you to an explanation if they can't fit it on the screen for the print screen, then that would be awesome. So, I mean, we'll see if they take my feedback into account. Okay, so giveaway link is open. It's pinned in chat. We're giving away a spool of Polymaker filament anywhere in the world. If you don't have a Discord, if you do not have a Discord name, then just put NA, and it'll work fine. So, let's see. I did the 3DO Panda. The helmet had many hidden parts. Using the change it layer for the helmet up to black, let me put the other small areas in the different colors. Wait. I did the 3DO Panda. The helmet had many hidden parts. Using the change it layer for the helmet up to... Let me put the other small areas in different colors. Got it. So is it to help you with the painting part of it? Okay, are we cool with doing a flow test? I feel like that's really what I want to do. It's something that I'm very curious about. Let's see if we go under their profile. So they have volumetric flow capped at 15. So I'm thinking maybe we run a test from like 10 to 30. Hey James, what's the price of the printer? So this one was sent to me. I did back it on Kickstarter, and I think the Kickstarter price was, I can't even remember right now. Is it $679? Is that about right? Okay, 10 to 30, cool. That's what we're gonna run. So this is just for anyone that's not, I know that there was someone here that said it's their first printer. Basically, all I'm doing is checking to see the hot end's capabilities. So they have their PLA capped at a max flow rate, which basically is how quickly can this thing melt material, of 15 cubic millimeters per second. So I want to see, can we push it beyond that? Usually manufacturers have things in a safe zone. Not always. Some manufacturers lately seem to want to push things to like a place where quality suffers because they want to make it seem like their printer can go faster than it really can. So we're going to start at 10 And we're gonna go up to 30 cubic millimeters a second. Awesome. Cool. And we are using, what is the default? Oh, I guess we can choose the filament in a moment here. Cool. So for anyone like, like if you look at this graph here, or this little, I don't know, it's not a graph, but this shows that we're basically starting at green, which is 10 cubic millimeters a second, and we're ending at red, which is 30. So it's gonna increase how much filament it's allowing to try to melt as it's climbing up here. And based off where we start to see like imperfections or gaps, we'll know like, hey, we've hit the max of this hot end. So let's give it a go. And so when you upload a file, this is, I guess, another difference between, this is different as well. Spiral mode only works, wait, spiral mode only works when wall loops is 1, support is disabled, top shows it. Sure. Hold on. Okay, that seems like that worked fine, I think. So yeah, the only difference as well is from here, similar to with like Bamboo's printers, but like if you had multiple machines, you could select them from here. I assume you could probably name them because you had multiple U1s, this would be confusing. And then you can choose which of your filaments you want to use. So we're going to go with, what do we want to use? I've got Bamboo PLA loaded up. I've got, so Zombie's filament's going to be difficult to see. White SnapMaker is going to be difficult to see. I think we'll just do Bamboo's PLA basic green. That's probably going to be the easiest color for us to see. So that's loaded in slot 1. We don't need to do anything else. So cool. Oh, what's the PLA temp? Ah, that's a great question. What is the PLA temp? 220, that's fine. 220 is what it's at, which is basically what I would normally print it anyway, so. And then I haven't used the camera a whole lot, but it does work. Probably not right now because the machine's doing stuff, but. Also, let me put my camera back. My little, there we go. Yes, there we go. It's very slow as far as your frames per second, but it's at least clear enough to where you can check on it and see that nothing's fallen over and there's no crazy spaghettiness. It also lets you see that your build plate is not on correctly. Shit. Hopefully I didn't screw things up. I will get you guys up. Oh. Huh. I feel like I was able to get you guys a little bit higher last week. Huh, that sucks. That's not a very good... It's not a very good view, is it? Okay, let me change... I'm not gonna make you guys dizzy. Let me change this and I'll just do what I did last week and put you guys up on filament spools. Even though the top of the filament won't be that useful to see. Probably won't be able to see the under extrusion very well from up there, but I'll give it a go. Okay. Is that any better? It's a little better, man. It's not great. It's about as good of an angle I can get. This is with you guys on... That's about what it was, so... Discord... Yes. $6.79. Okay. Yeah, so $6.79. I did pay the reservation price, which was it $40 for reservation price? I can't remember. Yeah, Discord's in the description. There should be a link. I'll take you over there. $90 entries. Sweeham, thank you so much. Wow, did it freeze? I didn't see any updates for a bit here. Sweeham, thank you so much for the 27 months, man. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Benny. Yeah, the frames per second is not good. Is the frame rate because I don't know, GPs. I have to assume it's a hardware limitation though, like that. So I don't know. Someone mentioned that they heard you can add a USB webcam to the USB port on the back, and so I can't think of why you'd want to do that unless you were able to get better frames out of it. So I'm not exactly sure what the limitation is of, like, if that's the case or not. I really don't know. Fractured my knee? Oh my god. That sounds awful. I'm really sorry to hear that. How did you manage to do that, man? I still would pick one up if I hadn't gone with the LL Goose and Terry Carbon. Yeah, I mean, why do we have filament? Why do we have filament on here? I haven't really ran into that issue very much with this. I mean, I probably need to dump the... it's not that bad. USB might have more bandwidth than a limited CSI bus. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's the case. Because the resolution to me, like, I don't have any issues with the resolution of the built-in camera. Like, to me, this is, like, that's fine, right? Like, that looks good enough. It's just the frames are not high. Not a lot of frames. I am so happy that we got the bed from 1mm down to 0.36 or whatever it was. That feels really good. I like that we can compensate for, you know, non-flat beds. I'm a big fan of that, but I also am a big fan of beds just being flat. So that it just feels a lot better that it's not having to do so much Z-axis stuff. I also wonder, because I did notice, like, on some of the prints, there's definitely some, like, Z artifact stuff going on, and I don't know. What I'd like to do is, one, run a tall cube with each tool head to make sure that, you know, it's the same with all of them. That will let me rule out it being anything with tool head related. But I'm curious if, like, that may have also been partially due to the bed being so unleveled that it was compensating for it in Z, and so that movement of the Z up and down to compensate, I'm doing a big wave, but it was only 1mm, like, was maybe adding to some Z artifacting. We did a manual bed leveling. So there's a menu option outside of calibration on this machine that's like manual bed leveling, and it basically takes the nozzle and goes and probes the four corners, and the load cell or whatever, I think it's a load cell they're using, gives it feedback, and it tells you, like, it has you turn the bed knobs underneath it either left or right, clockwise, counterclockwise, and it does that a few different times until it's within a specific range. So I have a feeling that what happened was during shipping, it just, you know, the bouncing around between loading and unloading caused the bed to become less level, and so that's very likely what happened. Reducing the resolution and boosting the frames per second. I could, yeah, I guess I wouldn't be upset with a mix, like if the resolution was maybe halved and the frames per second. It depends on how many more frames we'd be able to get. Similar to how you do it on the GT Plus 4. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I'm glad it has that though. It's a really nice thing versus paper method. Paper method is tried and true, but I do think from a beginner accessibility standpoint, it's very difficult to explain to someone, like, get a piece of printer paper, because there's different thicknesses, right? But, like, get a piece of printer paper and lower the bed, or like tighten the bed so that way there's a gap between it and the nozzle. Now start to go counterclockwise as you move the paper back and forth. If you feel the nozzle, stop. But if it tears the paper or leaves a mark in the paper, like, it's hard to explain that, right? That's the biggest issue I have. It's one of those things where, like, bed leveling with a piece of paper is something that you get better at with experience, because you just get more used to feeling like, okay, this is about the drag that I want. Feeler, I never used a feeler gauge, ever. I always used a piece of paper for my entire now 11 years of printing. I had a buddy I worked with at Matter Hackers that always had a feeler gauge in his pocket, and it was like die-hard feeler gauge. And I know that a feeler gauge is going to be more accurate versus the random pieces of paper I use, but it always worked, man. It always worked. For anyone that's just coming in, the giveaway link is open for our Polymaker giveaway, and I will probably close it in about 10-ish minutes. So if you want to enter, now is the time to do so. Looks like we've got 105 people in, 270 people watching. That's awesome. But only, I mean, I don't know, what is that? A little more than a third of you guys have entered in, and we have 118 likes. If you have not hit the like button, it's just begging. It's just begging to be liked. Click on it. Not sure how to find the giveaway link. It should be, so in chat where you're typing, at the very top of chat, there should be a link pinned. It says like modbot army https forms.gle for a Google form. I bought the CHEP leveling tool way after I should have bought the CHEP leveling tool. I bought it like, it was only like 4 years ago, probably at this point now that I bought it. And at that point, and there was still some manual leveling going on, but it was just a lot less of it. It was a great idea. I mean, it is a great idea for manual bed leveling. It definitely takes some of the, or a lot of the guesswork out. I'm just grabbing some water, guys. I filled up my water for the stream and I realized 2 hours in I haven't touched it. Thank you, John. Play whack-a-mole with the like button. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but I honestly don't remember. So we're just starting off, so let me pull up Fluid. And Fluid should let us see what our flow rate is, I would assume. Yeah, so right now we're at 10.7 cubic millimeters per second. So 10.9, we're slowly ramping up. How's the overall feel of this printer so far? I don't have any major gripes with it. I mentioned, I don't know, I'm sorry for everyone that's been here for a long time, because I know I'm like kind of repeating myself, but when people come in, I try to bring people up to speed. But basically, like this, like I've been printing pretty much non-stop, like things on here for the last, I've only had it for a week, but I've got, I think, what, 86 hours on it. So I've been printing non-stop. Like I did some of these, I played around with for, well, the Yu-Gi-Ohs for me, but like for my son, he really likes Mickey Mouse, so I found some Hue Forges. So like I've been trying out a bunch of different stuff, just PLA and just multicolor PLA, because I want, like, I'm pretty much at the point now where I'm checking off the box of like it handles multicolor PLA fine, like really well. So the next thing will probably be doing like, PTG is a little bit interesting because of moisture. So I'll likely do like a single color PTG print and then play around with like a PLA print that needs that uses PTG supports, then PTG print that uses PLA supports, then TPU. So, but like so far, the only issues I've run into is a little bit of fickleness with loading filament that is, if the filament has a bend on it, right? Like if you, I don't know how you guys store your filament, but this is how I store my filament, right? The filament is shoved through a hole and then it ends up going in my shelf. And so because it goes in my shelf, the filament ends up getting bent. And so it ends up leaving a kink in the filament. It does not like kinks in the filament. When you go into the loader, it just sort of struggles. It doesn't get as far as it needs to. It ends up throwing a red error. So like when I use this filament next, I will need to cut it where that is. So you don't have to store your filament like this. They've got little like clip, filament clips. It's just, it's what I do. So that was an issue. And then the only other issue really has been, what was it? The filament run out is weird. Like it worked, it paused. I was able to, this guy ran out of black filament on his hood, but the error code it threw up and the correct process of how they want you to navigate refilling filament was weird. It took me, it was it was pretty much anything but clear. So, but as far as the don't see a way to enter the draw on the screen. Okay, it's pinned. I can post it in chat again. It will go away quickly because of chat, but I'm fine with sharing it again for anyone. Let me delete this. I don't want to share anyone's emails. Okay, so giveaway link is in chat. Like, it's gonna scroll by now, but it's also pinned. I know you say you can't see it. You might need a reflash. I'm gonna need that Exodia. It was pretty funny. So I'll show this really quick just because nerdy stuff. So I bought this from Japan like 6 months ago, probably now, right? And for anyone that's not familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, that's fine. But this is like Kaiba's briefcase, right? And it's freaking sick. It's very, very heavy. And when you get it, like, it's super legit. It has this like beautiful acrylic thing. It's all lined with like Kaiba Corp, like stitching and stuff like that. And there were 3 like Japanese Blue Eyes cards in here, but I ended up selling those off because I mostly just wanted the case. But for the video I did on PEBA Filament, I used this and a ruler to basically bounce the PEBA balls. And in the comments, I saw somebody posted like, was that Kaiba's briefcase? And it made me happy that somebody recognized the briefcase. How has the spool holders been? I've had 0 issues with the spool holders. None whatsoever. I think the main issue with the beta testers units was the spool holders falling off, right? I think that's the main one that I remember seeing, but yeah, 0 issues at all. The only thing I ran into was there is this spool, which I think is Sunlu. I could be incorrect. I think this is Sunlu. This is too wide. It does not grip well and it will fall off. So this is the only spool I've found that the inner diameter won't work. I've used Polymaker, I've used Bamboo, I've used Voxel PLA, I've used Prusa Filament, I've used quite a variety. You would need to print like an inner ring for this to make it within the diameter range that it supports. That's the only issue I've had with it so far. Hey James! Do you find yourself running out of stuff to test print? I'd imagine you'd want to print something functional, useful, as to not waste time. So I run out of stuff to test print all the time. Usually I'm on, like, if I'm on social media, I'll see someone post something cool that's a print, and I'm like, I should print that someday. And then when I get to the actual, like, testing out a printer and need to print out a bunch of stuff, I cannot figure out, like, I get like analysis paralysis looking at the repository websites, right? I just cannot figure out what the heck I want to print. So I didn't really like printing a lot of like artsy knickknack stuff generally. Like, my heart is with functional printing. I've said that before. Like, I like organizing stuff. I like custom enclosures for things. Like, that's my jam. But the reality is, like, I have to show off printing pretty things because a lot of times those are more complicated prints, and that's what people want to see as well. So I feel a lot less bad about printing toy things and little props things now that don't really, don't do a whole lot, because I now have 2 kids. And so no matter what I print, Jackson like loves it. Like the little banana guy, the Gengar, I mean, he loves this stuff. So, but yeah, it is definitely it is definitely a thing. Yep. Do you have a Prusa XL? How's this for that? I don't have a Prusa XL. I pre-ordered one when they first announced it and was planning on getting, I think, a single version and then upgrading it, and it took longer than expected, and I decided that I had other things to spend money on, so I never ended up getting it. And I'm glad I didn't, because when it came out, there was definitely a lot of issues. It seems like everyone that has them now is relatively happy with them, but there was definitely kinks. So yeah, I'm glad I held off. I don't think it's a bad unit by any means, and I wouldn't be upset to have a Prusa XL, but I think that I made the right call by not getting it, at least when I initially was going to get it. I cannot print with smaller than a 0.4 nozzle because... Jack? What is it, baby? You colored on your hands? You gotta go wash your hands, dude. Hey, go wash your hands. Yeah, go get soap, baby. You gotta go wash your hands. Get the marker off your hand, okay? Turn the light on so you can see. So I have not used anything smaller than a 0.4 or bigger than a 0.4 because that's what they ship me, 0.4. And it's my understanding that these are, I think we looked at them, but these are not swappable nozzles. You basically replace the tool head. And I could be incorrect, but I don't believe that I am. If we go to SnapMaker's website, I am 99.9% sure that it's embedded. I do not think that you can swap out these nozzles. So they do have a wide variety up for for sale. I don't think they ship out for, I don't know if it says on here actually, but I don't know that I'll actually get a 0.2 if I'm being honest with you. I don't really like printing with smaller nozzles. It's just not usually something I'd want to do for the things I do. I will very likely get a 0.6. And I will very likely get a 0.8. And I will certainly want a hardened steel 0.4. But yeah, I don't really do smaller, generally speaking. But I'm glad that it's an option, you know. Hey, someone became a sponsor. What did I miss? Did I miss? Thank you so much, Nice. I didn't hear it. Maybe it was because Jack came up. Thanks for the gifted memberships, man. Cheers. I will do some TPU printing. Yes, I will probably do. I don't really think I'm going to do a 4-color TPU print. I know that Danny did some of those, but I will do single color TPU print, and I will probably do dual color TPU print. That's probably enough for me. Has the rubber parts on the spool held up on yours? Yes. Yes, they look fine. The little grips holding in place, yeah, they look fine. I've been very happy with mine for 24 months now. Nice. Yeah, I know that there's plenty of people that are running them successfully, and it's usually the ones that are having problems that post about it. Hey, Steve. I'm missing a lot. You can switch nozzle. Yeah, it looks like it's just hot end. Looking forward to trying TPU hue forge. Yeah, TPU hue forge looks interesting for like patches and stuff like that. Just got the 5-tool XL running on my first large multicolor print as we speak, so we'll see how. Oh man, fingers crossed, John. Hey, Kenneth. Wait, are you saying you can swap the nozzles? You're saying you can swap nozzle hot and end tool head? Am I wrong? I would love to be wrong. I don't see, I do like this. This was a big thing that Bamboo did that I was a big fan of, which was having the accessories available. I get that these are all pre-order, but I like that they have them listed. And also, what is the price of a single, if we just want a single one? 16 bucks. That's for the standard one that it comes with, so it's really not bad for a hot end at all. Hub adapter boards, 20 bucks. A new camera's 20 bucks. Like, the prices seem pretty fair. I mean, that seems cheap to me. A new touchscreen is only $20 if you need to replace it. That seems really fair. So I do like this. I might end up getting some spare parts. Maybe. How did hot ends get so cheap? Yeah, I don't know. I remember like 50 bucks or 60 bucks was super cheap. I still think that's a good deal for a lot of hot ends, like 50 bucks. But I don't know how these manufacturers, like, they just must not be taking margins on them. Hot end is one piece. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I thought they were going to ship the nozzles with the printer. Will ship in April. Got it. We just complaining that so many words mean similar meanings. Apologies for the got it. Okay, no worries. I don't think it'll be too long before there are other alternatives to quick swap nozzles. I'm sure. I would be very happy to see, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do sound effects. I'd be very happy to see third-party companies make hot ends for this with swappable nozzles. It should work fine because it does the nozzle, like, you know, calibration thing. So if the nozzle lengths are slightly different, you can just recalibrate for it. So I don't see any signs of any under extrusion yet. And we are currently at, the AC is on too right here. So that's probably not, which way is it blowing? I can't actually tell which direction it's blowing. That's probably not helping with the ability to melt things. We're at 19 cubic millimeters per second. I don't see any under extrusion yet. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna do a 2-minute heads up on the giveaway. I will post it one more time in chat because someone said they couldn't see it. So it is officially in chat again. This is for a spool of Polymaker filament anywhere in the world. 2 minutes, and then I am going to close the giveaway. And if you have not hit the like button, there's no better time. There's no better time than right now. Is the build plate actually a required add-on to purchase before you can print? No. No, definitely not. It comes with a build plate. There's alternative build plates. So you can get spare build plates. I think I saw they have like, whatever the build plate's called that has the sort of unique pattern thing on it that can basically go into your part. Yeah, so this is standard. So this, if you were to buy this, this is a spare. Although this actually looks different. What is this? Okay, no. So this is what ships on the printer. It's a dual-sided powder-coated PEI. If you want, you can buy smooth PEI, which I don't know if that's a sheet or what exactly that is. And then they've got these like graphic plate things, carbon fiber. So this one is if you want, this is strictly like if you want carbon fiber pattern on the bottom of your parts, then you can get this. But yeah, no, absolutely not. It comes with the bed. Hey, Chance. Smooth build plate. Is the printer good? It seems like a really good value, John. I don't know that it'll be for everyone. Like, I'm not sure how it's gonna handle heavy engineering materials, but so far after, hey Delilah, come on, let's go downstairs, baby. Come on. So far after, at this point, like 86 hours of multicolor, hold on. After 86 hours of multicolor printing, it handles PLA well and does, like, it seems quick, it seems pretty precise, and it seems to have no issues with docking and grabbing tool heads and printing. So you're gonna call rigged. All right, last minute on the giveaway, and then I'm gonna unpin it. I know one of the beta testers tried a holographic build plate. Nice. Carbon fiber plates look great. I think I've only used, BQ sent me some pattern plates at one point. I don't know where in the world they are, but they're for bamboo printers. But do I have, let's see, got like a stack of plates here. Oh, this is actual, I have an actual carbon fiber plate from, oh yeah, like this is like an example of, this is one that BQ sent me a while back. I haven't really used these too much. They are very cool though. Like, that doesn't look very good. You can't really see, you can kind of see a pattern. But it leaves a holographic pattern in the bottom of your prints. It's fairly subtle. So I can see how like let's see if I go like this maybe. That's gonna, let's not do that. Yeah. I've customized the cool plate from the Chinese factory. Oh, that's cool. I make custom, that's cool. I could see for car parts that looking pretty cool. Like if you're doing a, I don't know, just like a cell phone mount or cup holder. I mean, really anything. It could be functional stuff too. All right, y'all. I am removing the link. If you're filling out the giveaway form, you've got 45 seconds, and then we are going to do this drawing. Remove. I wonder, how did you get the real unit so fast and they put it on the boat and ship it to the USA? Yeah, so they basically reached out, because they had reached out to me months ago to be one of the beta testers, and it didn't work out. I told them that I wasn't really crazy about testing a prototype unit, and that I don't think I'd be able to give them much feedback because we were expecting the birth of our now born son. And so I said that if there was interest in sending like a complete unit, then, you know, I'd be interested in that. So I did back this printer as well. So I will have a backed unit coming, but they basically reached out to me, I think 3 weeks ago now, saying that, hey, the first batch of Kickstarter units is done. If you're interested in testing one out, we can basically airlift this one to you. So it was pulled from the first batch with a couple other, I think Loyal got one. I think I've seen 1 or 2 other people posted they got them, but they are the final units from the first batch of what Kickstarter backers are getting. It just, all of the rest of them, including the one I backed, is on a boat, I would imagine. And then this and a couple other ones were airlifted, so. I've been tempted to look at making a wireless charging pad for my car. That'd be pretty cool. I like those holographic plates for screen bezel stuff. Yeah, that could look really cool. Okay, let's do this giveaway, guys. I've been talking about it forever. Also, we got 163 likes. Can we get 169 likes? That I know we can hit. I know you guys. All right, let's do. I have to really quickly download the. There's 148 entries. Download responses. I'm getting hungry, y'all. Aaron made yogurt parfaits for breakfast, and they were delicious, but I'm ready for more food. Oops. Oh, music's done. All right. Thank you, nice. I actually, yeah, I can't. The fan is quite loud on this, I will say. That's. I think it's mostly the. I think it's mostly the hot end fan that's the loudest. It's hard to tell, but it's definitely got some noise to it. I mean, we tested out. I'll do a. Here. See if I can really quickly do a decibel test. I know it doesn't necessarily say a lot. Is this the decibel testing app I use? Okay, I'm trying to get the giveaway going here. Google Drive. Oops, here we go. So we're at 58 decibels. From about a foot away, we're at 58 decibels, for anyone that's wondering. We cannot shuffle that many times. Wait, cannot hear anything? Oh, noise cancellation. I was like, what do you mean? I'm talking. Okay. Crap. Okay, just gonna verify that nobody got dropped out of the giveaway. So there should be 140, looks like 148 people. Missing someone. All right, I'm gonna download this one more time. There's somebody missing from the sheet, and I don't want, if you entered into the giveaway, I want you to be able to have a chance to win. Otherwise that sucks. Okay, bear with me, sorry y'all. I'm just trying to be fair. Sounds like we're skipping steps. We're like, it sounds like yeah, shooter has failed. Let's kill this. Definitely failing. We're at 27 cubic millimeters per second. It failed a little bit before this. Okay. All right, I gotta sit for a sec. Oh, extract all. Yes. Yes. Okay. Modify giveaway form. Yes. Overwrite. Okay. I hope this says everybody. Yes. All right. We have 149 people. That is everybody that entered into the giveaway. Perfect. All right. Got everybody. Here we go. So, yeah, for anyone new here, this giveaway is provided by Polymaker. They let us do a giveaway every single week for our streams, which is awesome. If you win, you will receive an email from me within 24 hours that's just got a form similar to what you filled out for the entry with a code that you'll need, just a unique code that's generated to basically claim your prize. If you're in the US or Canada, you'll get a $35 gift card. Anywhere else in the world gets to pick a spool of filament off of Polymaker's website up to $35. So super cool of them. Also, if you do need to pick up filament and you want to support the channel, there is a link in the description to Polymaker's website that a percentage of purchases do support the channel. It doesn't cost anything extra, but it does help out. So it allows me to do things like fix my camera lens that I snapped. So I'll take the printer to the spool. You got it, John. All right, y'all. So with that, let's do this. I'm trying to think how many times do I want to shuffle. We've got 4 tool heads. We were running up to 30 cubic meters a second. I don't know. Someone give me a number. First number. First number gets it. How many times are we shuffling? 3. 3 it is. All right. Good luck, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. The registration is closed. Sorry. I had it open for probably like 40-ish minutes. But we'll do one more next week. George Elliott, you are our winner. I'll do some air horn. Congratulations to George Elliott. You are this week's winner. I think you might be a first-time winner. I can't remember everyone that's won, but I feel like I don't recall reading your name out loud. So congratulations. I will send you an email probably this evening, and just be on the lookout for that. It will come from my personal email. I don't actually have like a Modbot email, so if it looks sketchy, it's just me. But yeah, thank you everyone else for entering in, and we will do this again next week. So the last thing I just want to do here is take a quick look at the max flow rate test. I'm definitely getting hungry, so this will be the final part of today's stream. Do feel like we got quite a bit done. We showed how to manual level it. I showed you guys things I'd printed, gave you some updates. We took a look at the slicer, and oh yeah, I should probably stop the print, right? I just paused it, I didn't stop it, so let's stop it. Are you sure you want to stop? Confirm. Thanks for hanging out, Ranma. All right, so here he or she is, our test print. We'll take it out. So we can see where it started. Oops, we can see where it started to fail pretty badly. I would say somewhere beneath that bump is probably about what I'm going to consider its max flow rate. And we know that when I hit pause, it was at 27 cubic millimeters per second. So should be able to basically just count these notches here, and each of these notches represents a bump of 1. So let's start. I usually like just kind of tearing off the bad area, so that way I know that that's my height that I have to work with. So let me do this really quick. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I still would probably back off a little bit more, but let me do some measuring really quick here. I was printing at 220. That was the defaults that they had, and that's what I typically print PLA at. So I feel like that's a good place, because if you set the temp for max flow rate to something ridiculously high, I don't really know how much that actually proves. So based off this, if this is 10, we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it printed nicely up to 24 cubic millimeters per second. I don't feel confident in saying it can print 24 cubic millimeters per second in PLA efficiently or with strong extrusion, but I do feel confident in saying that the 15 millimeters that they have it, the 15 cubic millimeters per second that they have it set at is probably a bit conservative. So I I would say you definitely could bump it to 18, arguably 20, depending. But if you're doing functional stuff, I always think going a little bit slower is better because you want to ensure that you're getting the best interlayer adhesion. So even though something looks good, it doesn't necessarily mean that the layers have bonded as much as they would had you gone slower or used a less, yeah, 24 to 42 backwards, so it sounds right, yeah. Max margin, exactly, yeah. So, but yeah, looking at here, like this all looks clean, relatively, even at the very top, like it looks pretty dang good, and that was 24, but I still like, just looking at like the sheen, I would back off. I think 20 is what I'd call a safe cap, and 18 if you want to be conservative. For functional stuff, I'd probably do 18, so not too shabby. I mean, I think that's really not bad for PLA for a default setup, and who knows, if we do end up getting third-party hot ends made for this and we can throw in CHTs, you might be able to go quite a bit quicker than that. But the brass CHT would be, yeah, I was gonna say, like if you throw in a CHT, then it would be it'd be pretty good. So I'm still deciding if to order a spare set of nozzles to go along with my U1 order. Shame that they're selling them in a batch of 4. Yeah, I'm a little bit, so I wish that they had my request, which I don't know if they'll do. I can email them. I don't know how much they'll listen. Some people listen to me, some people don't, but I would love to see 2 more bundles added to this at least. I'd love to see one that is like a 2, 4, a 6, and an 8 bundle, right? With hardened steel nozzles, so you get 1 of each. I'd like to see like 2 4s and 2 6s in a bundle, and then like 2 4s and 2 8s or something like that. So, slow is the way to go, especially in barbecue. Yeah. Hey, enjoy your time in the sun, GPs. Like, just soak up some relaxation for me, man. Can you scroll through the config file from top to bottom? I can pause later. Sure, I can do that for you. Can I zoom in a little bit for you? There we go. Okay, so yeah, it's a very long config, so I will just scroll slowly. So there's that. There's that. Input shaper section. Can I post the files to Discord? You want the printer.cfg file? Wait, yeah, that's a way better idea. What am I saying? I haven't been told I can't share this. I'm fine with sharing it. Why don't we just do that? Download. Save. I'm not going to send everything. I'll just do the printer.cfg file for now. But yeah, I'll do that right now. I'll just share it. The config files aren't going to allow you to do that. But yeah, I wasn't told like don't share files, so I'm fine with that. Let me see. Will it allow me to upload a config file to Discord is the question. Why don't I see this file? Where did it go? Downloads? Oh, it didn't download it. Brave blocked this file. How do I allow this file? Brave blocked this file because it's from a site that isn't secure. Okay, let me try that again. Printer.cfg, download. Okay. Downloads, save. Yes. Keep. Unverified download blocked. Download unverified file. Got it. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I'm almost there. It's like... Okay. It is officially uploaded, so for anybody that wants to take a look at the config file, if they're curious, it is in the Modbot Army Discord under the live streams channel, and it is just the printer.cfg right here. So Will other manufacturers just copy the config files to use their clones of this? I don't really see what good that would do them, because like the config file won't give them that much, right? Like getting the hardware to be reliable is a big part of it. Don't get me wrong, the config file still contains info, but I don't see how that's a very tiny part of the equation. And I think that SnapMaker anticipates that there will be like copycats, which is maybe why they've requested no big teardowns if possible until January. So, but yeah, I don't have any issue sharing that. Everyone's gonna have access to it in the coming weeks anyway, as soon as they start landing. Are you going to install the doors mod for 180? What is that? Oh, like, does it make it where you can open this all the way? Look at the shirt. Oh, nice, dude. Oh, dude. All right, this is Nice's Modbot shirt. It's been through the ringer, man. That's awesome. Where was that mod posted? If you can post a link to it in the Discord live stream channel, I'll take a look at it later. I might print it out. Because, I mean, I've not Uncle Jesse the printer yet, but I am clumsy and I get sidetracked, and if I leave this open and walk this way, I could see myself potentially doing that. But I think we're gonna end it here. It's been 2.5 hours, pretty much exactly. I am very hungry and just gotta get some work done, both in the garage and up here. We have electricians coming at 8:30 in the morning to do the electrical work down there, and I need to do some laser stuff for light burn prior to them coming, so that'll probably be tonight, me in the garage just lasering stuff. Does anyone actually have a top hat for this printer yet they've tested, or is it still just planned? I don't think anyone's got one that's been tested. There's only so many units out there, since it's only beta testers and then like the first batch reviewers. So I think it'll still be a little bit longer, but thank you all for hanging out with me on this Wednesday. I hope you guys had a nice time, and if you didn't learn something, maybe hopefully I was at least entertaining for you guys. Next week we will be back in the garage. I promise that we are finishing up the Venture XL. Fingers crossed, because the game plan is we do all of our startup checks and actually print next week, and I'm very excited for that. And then shortly after that, we will be starting on the LDO Micron Plus kit build, which I'm super excited about. The LDO filament just showed up today from Fabrico, so I'm gonna get started on printing out parts for that build. So I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and there will be no video this Saturday. I'm taking this Saturday off. Not really, I'll be working towards the next video, but no video this Saturday, so I will see you guys all next Wednesday. All right, I'll talk to you all later. Thank you to everyone for all the support too. We had all of the merch purchases, the memberships, donations. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and also for anyone that hit the like button, you're awesome. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.